Hi, and welcome back to the Myriad 6 Playout tutorial series. In this video, we will take a look at the new Dynamic Layout Editor tool, which enables you to create and edit dynamic layouts without the need to write any XML code. So let's dive straight in. To recap, dynamic layouts can be used to change the way Myriad 6 Playout looks and what tools are available on each screen. You can switch between dynamic layouts using the Layouts menu, but until now, editing or creating dynamic layouts required you to hand code them using XML. The Myriad Playout 6.61 release introduces the new Dynamic Layout Editor tool, which allows you to easily modify or create dynamic layouts within the application. Let's start by modifying the current default layout to add a clock to the right of the dashboard tile. Starting with the current default layout, click on the Layouts menu and select the Edit this layout option. This will open the Dynamic Layout Editor tool. If we minimize this window for a second, we can see that the screen is divided into rows and columns. These allow you to define the position and size of containers, which are used to display elements in the layout. Containers can be set as tabs, which can display multiple elements, or frames which can only display a single element. These elements are called tiles. In this example, the leftmost container is set as a tab and contains tiles for the media wall, favorites, and the library. The top right container is set as a tab, but it only contains the dashboard tile. To add a clock tile to the right of the dashboard, we will need to reduce the width of the tab that contains the dashboard, then add a new frame container with a clock tile. In the Dynamic Layout Editor window, the screens, containers, and tiles are listed in the left-hand panel, with the details for the selected element displayed to the right. In this example, we want to reduce the size of the container that contains the dashboard tile to make way for the new clock. Clicking on containers will highlight them on the grid. You can then use the column span or row span settings to change the width or height. As we want to reduce the width, we need to reduce the column span setting. Next, we need to click on the Add Frame button in the Containers section of the tool ribbon. This will allow us to select the tile we want to put into the container. In this case, we want to add a clock tile, so select Clock from the list of available tiles. A new container will be added to the layout, with the clock tile already set inside it, but it is not the right size or in the right position in the layout. So we need to select the container in the Layout Editor and adjust the column span to adjust the width. We can also adjust the position by changing the column and row settings, which set the position on the grid of the top left corner of the container. So in this case, we will reduce the column span to 2, and set the column value to 10, which will place the top left corner of the container into the top left corner of the 10th column. By selecting the clock tile in the Layout Editor, we can also change the attributes for the clock tile, such as whether to display the date, the type of clock to display, and what fonts and colors to use. Finally, we can use the Save option on the tool ribbon to update the existing dynamic layout, or choose Save As to create a new dynamic layout which will be added to the Layouts menu. In this example, we will use the Save As option to create a new dynamic layout called My New Layout. The new layout will automatically be added to the list of options on the Layouts menu. Now that we know the fundamentals of using the Dynamic Layout Editor, let's try creating a new layout from scratch. In this example, we will reproduce the widescreen layout shown here, by starting with a blank layout and adding in the containers and tiles needed to recreate this design. Start by heading to the Layouts menu and selecting the Edit the Layout option. In the Layout Editor window, click on the New button on the tool ribbon to create a new blank layout. Give the new layout a suitable name and description. This will create your new layout and add it to the Layouts menu. To recreate the widescreen design from earlier, we will first increase the number of columns in the layout to allow us more flexibility with positioning of containers. Click on the Screen 1 option in the left panel and increase the column number from 12 to 14. We could also increase the row count, but it is not really needed in this case. The first container we need is a tab container, which will include the media wall, favorites, and library tiles. Click on the Add Tab button in the Container section of the ribbon, and select Media Grid from the list of available tiles. This will add a media grid tile, otherwise known as the media wall, to the container. Make sure the container is still selected on the left-hand side, and click on the Add Tile button in the Tile section of the ribbon. This will add a new tile to the selected container. In this case, select the Favorites tile. Repeat the process, selecting the Library tile to complete the container. We can see that the container is already in the right position, and is the right width, but would need to be 4 columns taller to match our design. To amend this, select the container node and increase the row span option by 4. The first container in our design is now complete. The middle section is another tab container. This time it contains a Smart Info tile and a Media Information tile. Click on the Add Tab button in the Container section of the ribbon and select the Smart Info tile. Next, make sure the container is still selected, and then click on the Add Tile button in the Tiles section of the ribbon, and select the Media Information tile from the list. Finally, make sure the column span is set to 4, and the row span is set to 10, to ensure the container is the correct size. The middle section of our layout is also now complete. The right-hand section of our layout design consists of 2 frame containers. The top frame container is used to contain a dashboard tile, and the lower container has a log tile. In the container section on the ribbon, click on the Add Frame button and select Dashboard from the list of tiles. As we can see, it is already in the right position, but needs to be 2 columns wider to span to the edge of the layout. Select the Frame Container node, and change the column span option to 5. This will make the container the correct width. Let's add another frame container, for the log tile. Click on the New Frame button, and select Log from the list of tiles. The frame container needs to be 1 column taller to fit the design, so once again, select the Frame Container node that contains the log tile, and increase the row span by 1. Our final design element in this layout is the media players that span the bottom of the screen. They are in a tab container, but as there is only 1 tile, you could use either a tab or frame container. Click on the Add Tab button on the Container section, and select Media Players from the list of available tiles. As you can see, the container is both the wrong size and in the wrong position. To correct this, select the Container node and set the column setting to 0. This will place the top left corner of the container into the top left corner of column 0, which is the first one. The column span setting should also be changed to 15. This will make the container span the width of the layout. In this example, both the row and row span settings are already correct. Our dynamic layout is now complete. All we need to do is click on the Save button to save our changes, and the layout will be available from the Layout menu. Each tile has its own unique set of options to allow you to fully customize your dynamic layouts. Feel free to experiment to get the design you want. We have only touched on a few of the most commonly used tiles, but there are currently 25 different tiles available, with the potential for more to be added in the future. You can also set up layouts for multiple screens and control elements such as background color, margins, and spacing. So let your imagination go wild. We cannot wait to see what you come up with. It is worth mentioning that only users with access to the Myriad settings menu can access the dynamic layout editor, so if you do not see the option, talk to your station administration about upgrading your user permissions. Have fun and thanks for watching. For more video tutorials and help articles, visit our help portal using the link below, or check out our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and happy broadcasting.